a warm welcome to all our participants and attendees. A warm namaste from my side here, Ashish here from ProThoughts, and we have some wonderful guests today with us. Uh, it's my privilege to welcome Thomas and Matthew from Project Insight. And Project Insight, we had at ProThoughts, we had a very wonderful partnership for last 10 years. And I know almost a lot of people at Project Insight. And thank you so much, Thomas and Matthew, to join and take this webinar. Just to give you a little brief idea about Project Insight, Project Insight is one of the top project management softwares in not only in the US but across the globe. In fact, we have a few customers in India as well. And Thomas is the president, the CEO or president, looks after the sales of Project Insight. And I was going through his profile, and he's such an impressive profile. He has done a lot of things as a CEO, as a board member. I don't know where to start, but he has a diverse experience of managing companies, and he is here to talk a little bit about Project Insight and how it can, as a tool, a project management software tool, can help project managers. And also we have Matthews, who is the Project Insight specialist, and I think one of the things he's nicely written on his LinkedIn is to make the project manager's job easy, or making project management easy. So let's hear from both of them how it will actually help to make your project management easy. I think it's something I'm personally looking forward to. So over to Thomas and Matthew. I'm going to be off the camera, just listening attentively to you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashish. We appreciate it, and we especially appreciate your team at ProThoughts for having the webinar. We really value your long-term relationship, which has been, very fruitful for both of us, and we look forward to continuing that for a long time. So thank you again for having us, and especially having us for this webinar. And with that being said, Matt and I are going to jump right into this. So the webinar is about escaping the spreadsheet trap. Being a project management software company, we are going to share with you some things that you'd be surprised how many companies are still using spreadsheets. And we're going to show you some of the different tools and what you can do to make your life a lot easier. So as she said, I'm Thomas Leffler. I'm the President Chief Revenue Officer of Project Insight. And we have Matthew Sparks, who leads our enterprise side of the business on the sales. And we're looking forward to jumping right in.
Really looking forward to the webinar today. What we're going to do is go over a little bit about who we are, who is Project Insight. We're going to go over kind of some of the pain points that I think most professionals have experience in working in spreadsheets. We're going to then go ahead and import one of those sheets into our tool and kind of go through some flows.
And we're going to hit the Project Insight system.
Yeah.
And then, Matt, at the end, we're going to have the FAQs.
Exactly. Any questions? We're here for them. So, who is Project Insight?
Well, we're a project management software company. And one of the things that we're looking forward to showing you is the comprehensiveness of the system with a lot of different apps. For example, as you can see there, the icons we've put there for the user interface is something that we redid in the last couple of years. And we're really, really proud of that because it resembles kind of like an iPhone and an Android. It's something you're familiar using with and really easy to use.
Yeah, and I think that's really what our mission is. It's to automate your work, unify your data, and make your life easy, right? That intuitiveness, that easiness. We are an award-winning project management tool. We won the Cody Awards last year. Yes, we're hoping to get that again this year. Really, it shows a lot of prestige for us because we're a 20-plus year organization. So we were here at the foundational principles of what online project management really looked like, being compliant with PMBOK principles, and here we are today still winning awards.
And one of the things we're really proud, we're really proud about the 90%, over 90% customer retention rate. That's something that we do take a lot of pride in, and support is something that we spend a lot of time and focus on.
key. That's really why we're able to support such a diverse range of organizations throughout our tenure, is because of how adaptive our tool is and the care that we put into it.
And the customers range from small to massive and everything in between, name brand companies all the way down to, one person, two-person companies. But we are an enterprise solution, but we also offer different flavors of that for just about any company. All right. So from our different aspects of our features, we have a big toolkit within the application. And as you can see, there's a lot of different areas of it. We're going to focus on, we'll hit on all of them, but specifically ones that deal with spreadsheets and how we can make your life easier. But one of the areas, for example, that we differentiate ourselves is capacity and resource allocation. We look forward to showing you how that can really change your life.
Yeah, it's really strong. Regardless of what you want to do in the tool, you really have the ability to have that central place to collaborate. So if you are doing the resource, just that task tracking, the overall budget, we have the ability to do so. And in being an integrator, we then can get that data in or out of the tools that you are already using. That's really the big win there.
And we have lots of different companies that we've integrated to, as you can see.
Yeah. Open API as well if you're looking to connect to us directly itself. So, what are these pain points though that we're kind of talking about, right? This kind of idea of I've got to look at the status of a sheet first to then understand where we are. I then have to update Thomas via email on my sheet. And in the event that, maybe it's going to get buried in his email because Thomas, how many emails did you get yesterday? 4 million, probably?
Oh, yeah, maybe more.
Exactly, right? So in that event, then I can Teams them. Hey, I need you to have this update so that we're all on the same page, right? And it really just causes headache. I think Thomas can speak to that more from that executive level, but as a member who's updating things constantly, we know it's really just a pain.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're going to really dive into is how to make yourself more efficient, right? And with all the different errors that can happen and various different things when using spreadsheets and centralizing your projects. With all these different projects, we have clients that have over 1,000 projects, all the way down to a client that has one. So in the collaboration that takes place with that can cause a lot of problems if you don't have an application. Within a spreadsheet, man, all the reports and the comments and things of that nature, who knows, where you could be because other people may not. Also, with the manual work, think of all the emails you do and the exports and the various different elements of it that we can reduce that by using a tool in project management.
Yeah, and by reducing all of those manual inputs, you then have live updates. Everybody understands what's happening on demand. That then allows you to have advanced reporting in real time directly in our tool. Because we've integrated with the 365 ecosystem or Teams or anywhere else, you can really have that data anywhere that you really care to have that. And because we allow for really just a through and through customization of what you're looking at, it's your data. Look at it how you care to. That's really the kind of advantage over the sheet there. So, what we're going to do is go through a flow and show how do we escape, Thomas? How do we get out, right? How do we get away?
Exactly.
So, we're going to go ahead and import a sheet here. So, first of all, what are we importing? I guess this is kind of this flow that we were just going through. We've got, a high level project tracker sheet, right? Where I can see what my status is. I've got some projects that are in planning, on hold. I've got the ability to understand who we're serving in the company, the project name. This is that high level kind of dashboard that really, Thomas, you're more accustomed to having, right? Where you can just quickly glance, but now you need to track something down. Why are we red? That's where it is. That's the point, right?
Exactly. And to make it easy. And one of the things with our template, it's very easy to import it because we don't want to have people struggle with that, just trying to get their data in. So we've made that so it's a very simple process.
Yep, exactly. So, two flavors. It's typically this idea of tracking at the high level project where we can just understand where our project is. Here's the name of the project. Here's the completeness. The other, really type of sheet that we encounter are the granularity of tasks that happen in these projects. So we're serving, this company for this particular project. What are the tasks? What are the responsibilities associated? What are the milestones with this particular one, right? Rather than having to, look at this, figure out who's in charge, go into the SharePoint, find the right other sheet to open up, have the sheet, look at who's responsible for the next task, open up my email and say, dear Amanda, I need you to do something. Project Insight gives you the ability just to simply import these sheets. So
Matt,
here
it's
we
not
are.
even. Well, I was just going to say, Matt, not only is it just spreadsheets, but even if you're using Microsoft Project, you still have a hassle when it comes to what a tool can do and what it can't.
100%. I think that's a spectacular call, especially here, seeing that we can import really easily off of projects.
Exactly.
With even a little bit greater sophistication of what we're going to see here via this Excel import. We are in our tool now, so this is just for kind of a transition. We are in Project Insight. This is the ability here where I can, on a project level, import via Excel or via a project file. For this, we're going to go Excel. One quick call out into the tool here is, this is kind of explains how easy it is to utilize our platform. One, I have a tutorial video that can open up right in app and give me help on how to do this. I have the ability to download a template if that's what I need here. Really though, all we're trying to do is upload this file that we already have. We know what we're looking for. We're going to go ahead and open up our task tracker. We've got to use a copy because we have it open right now. We know Excel doesn't like that very much. And then I can just simply click upload. At this point, it's going to take all of those tasks, all of those line items that we had in there and bring them directly into our tool. You can see here we have the name of those tasks. We have those calendar dates. We have the ability to see the resource that was on here. What we're going to do now is go through, what does this mean? This is great that I have this list here and I can go through and click my disposition here, but how does this actually add that value to us? So that's what we'll be exploring as we go through.
Yeah, we just saved a lot of time right there just by importing all that information.
No joke. Oh my gosh. And we'll go through how you can add line by line, but going through one by one on each of those. Now it is a template in the tool. Now it can be a template in the tool. So that's exactly right. This is our home screen. So this is, what every user is met with by default when they log into our tool. What I've done here is I've used my main navigation bar to get into this. We're going to explore this separate bar here for reporting. We do have a quick search if you need to find anything readily, our notifications here, and then we have the ability to kind of handle our own personal preferences. This homepage, though.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say we spent a lot of time on where they were placed, where all the different tools are in conjunction with how you do things within a tool, because the navigation, as we all know in applications, is really important.
Crucial. If you can't get where you need to go quickly, you're going to just be here, click, 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 click. Got it. Now I can input some data, and it's not beneficial at all. And that is really where the nav bar comes into play.
And that's the evolution of us as a company. Doing this for over 20 years, we've gleaned and learned what's important and where people spend time at, and we've taken actions accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, even to that point, overhauling the user interface, just a little over a year ago, right? Showing that, this is something that it's our investment. We're going to continue to put into it. So we want our customers work life easier. That's the goal. So, our home screen, though, is unique to every user, kind of like our phone, right? That's really what it's meant to model off of: icons, notifications. The idea that is, if Matthew Sparks is an admin within the system, I'm going to see the admin icons. I'm going to see the add-ons icons, the add-on icons. And the add-ons are really the Project Insight App Store is the best way to think about that. What this does is it gives me the ability to add additional power into our tool. One of the big points is that you have the ability to have all add-ons with your enterprise license. So you have the ability to just go in and turn these on as you see fit. The add-ons give the ability to do something like add time on your grid. So we're going to go through and see the tasks that I'm assigned to and the projects. Now I have the ability to come in and say, oh, well, I did actually log a couple hours on this one the other day, and it was billable. All through the power of the add-ons. Here, though, what we're going to do is just kind of go through a few different flavors and user stories. The first one is going to be myself. I'm an individual contributor. I have tasks to tackle, and I need to get those done. In order to do so, I'm going to go into what we call work list.
Matt, when we talk
Work
about
list.
the add-ons, is we jumping into the work list. With the beauty of that is, as you said, you can do those individually for the company of what you want to have in there. And the fact of the matter is there's no extra cost associated with those to add those add-ons. I mean, unless there's like an integration or some other pieces you have to do. But that's one of the things we pride ourselves in also. We want you to have the tools. We want you to have the functionality. So as you grow and as you scale, or you just want to use more sophisticated tools, you have them right at your fingertips right there.
Exactly. It also lends well for that phased approach of implementation. If you are slow, we're going to start using the tool and then we're going to use it a little bit more, and then we're going to use it a little bit more, and then it can snowball into that. Here is my bucket, though. This is the same that Thomas has, but Thomas's will be unique to his and his tasks that he has going on. What we have here is a nice little greeting. It is the morning time here, so good morning, Matthew Sparks. I have my most recently touched items that are up at the top. The idea of this is I've not yet finished them. I might want to jump in and get those done. Down
Hey, Matt, I
below,
added a couple more in the, last night I added a couple more in there for you. So you have some more tasks. And look,
did you
there's
get
a
a few
bug
more
in
in
there
there for
also.
me?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you so much. This is the point of that, though, right? Is Thomas is working out, doing what he needs to do. He can throw those into my bucket when I come into mine to look at all of my work as what this says. This is a combination of all of my tasks that are overdue and or upcoming as dictated by the filter here. So it's typically set as 7 days by default, although we've got customers who manage, tasks down to the 15-minute granularity, so they're looking at 1 day at a time. But here I can sort this. I can see, to Thomas's point earlier, the add-ons. I've got add-ons here. I've got an action item. Oh, excuse me. I've got an issue. I have tasks that are assigned to me. In the tool, we do a double sort, so you can go by end date, and then if you want to check by priority and really see what you need to do first, you can. But the idea here is I can see the item. This is a task. The name of the task, so develop a project charter. This is the project that it's being driven from. As you can see, I'm associated with multiple projects, so I've got access to that. Here in this one spot. I have the option to give my work status, update this here. I can come in and say, I've started it. I'm in progress. Now, the tool can automatically provide any notifications whatsoever. It can let me know that I was late on my task. It can let my boss know, Thomas, that I'm late on my task. It can even notify Thomas as the project manager that I just started this. It's in progress. That's all configurable.
That's part of the collaboration piece that we're talking about that makes it so simple for us and everybody to communicate to each other. Also in the work list, as you can see, and Matt, you were pointing out in some of the different areas, everybody's a little different. You may want to look at end dates, you might want to look at priorities first, but the ability to click into those and filter what's important to you is what really can separate the tool.
That's it. It makes it. It takes all of those road tasks that I might have in this file here in SharePoint, this Excel file here, and this Excel file here. It combines them all into my bucket, and then I can use it as I see fit, which is the real win.
Yeah, there's two different levels to this. Yeah, you have the configuration that we can do for your company, but then you have the configuration you can do for yourself. So it's a two-pronged approach, which makes it very individualized to what you need to do or want to do.
Yeah, which makes it used. work where you want.
Yeah, adoption is the key.
Exactly. And to that collaborative point, look, I can ping Thomas right here. Thomas, getting started, need a little help, right? Thomas can then get pinged via Teams. He can get an email. He can get notified via the Project Insight mobile app. Those are, again, those configurations that you have the ability to set. And then again, if I am time tracking, I can here on this individual task come in here and say, okay, I put in 5 hours against this today. That's it, and go ahead and save that off.
Matt, when you said time tracking, that's another important element. How many times do we come across companies that are using time tracking in a different application, whereas in ours, it's built in. So it's a one-stop shop. Many times we replace, when we go into a company, now they don't have to use that app anymore because they're using ours for both well, for many purposes.
Exactly. And then the fact that we integrate, move whatever data you need into your NetSuite or payroll or otherwise, that's where you get that real win. And that's it, right? As that individual, I can see my relevant work. I can then understand what I need to do. All of this, though, was driven from the project level, and that's really where we started on that import here. So using our navigation, we're going to go into projects. This will take me into what we call the projects homepage. This is meant to be similar to work list, wherein this is a quick way for me to get to the last projects that I'm assigned to by last visited. I currently have my inactive projects on. If I want to turn those off, I can. The idea of that is if maybe you have a project that's complete in a sort of planning phase that you don't want to see, you can toggle those on and off. Here we have all of my projects that I'm assigned to. I have the ability to see the name of the work. These are customizable, very similar to those work statuses that we saw. This is my project status of active. This is a project phase. This is in an initiation phase. We've got a health red, yellow, green icon that we track, that you can track via add-on. And then we also have some automatic health indicators. This is letting me know that this particular project, we're behind schedule. These are just some of the automatic indicators. Here, we are serving our customer. Our primary project manager is Michael Brown. When I click into this particular project, I'm going to be met with one of many views and ways in which I can interact with this work here. What we're looking at, though, is that same task list that we had ultimately seen when we imported that from the spreadsheet. In fact, this is that same screen. If I want to import another spreadsheet, I can right here and click import and do so, right? It's that simple.
That's the beauty of it, right?
That's the beauty of it. Make it easy to use. So exactly. I can expand all and see the entirety of my tasks. We do have these broken down into subtasks and children. You can see here. This is all inline editable though. That's the real power, is I can come in here and say, type what I need to. Ultimately, what we're saying here is this feasibility study, you have 5 days to complete 20 hours of work. This one's actually already been done, but if I need to change that, I have the ability to do so. Again, these work statuses customizable. The start and end date are going to inherently work off of the predecessors. So if we have tied predecessors to these, they're going to work on that and off of my duration. Although I do have the ability to go in here and really easily change this if I need to. What that does is notify Michael Brown, my resource, in the timely fashion that he's got the tasks. We can send an email to Michael as the task resource owner and say, hey, Michael, you've got a task due in 5 days. We can let him know that that task is coming up 1 day out. It's 1 day due, and now you're getting a Teams notification. Now Michael's 3 days late, and we're letting Thomas know. Thomas is his immediate supervisor. We want to make sure that he's in the loop, and maybe the project manager as well. That's the automation that's built in here based on the dates.
Which helps tremendously with the communication. So
Exactly.
now we're on the same page as a team.
That's right. And where that's extremely helpful is in a situation like this. If I go ahead and I change this to, let's say that this task is in progress, I can then click back into this. We're seeing Michael's my resource. This is really important, especially if your resources are on multiple work items like Michael is. I can see through our planning of this resource's time what Michael is doing during this timetable, during this task window. I can see the other project that he's working on. I can drill in and see any sort of tasks associated with that. I can drill in and see our task here. The idea is, though, that I have the idea, I know that Michael is available to do this work, and I can assign it to him and feel confident in that.
I think that's
In
one of
the
the
event that,
areas, Matt, where resource capacity and planning, that's a big area that many companies struggle with, which they certainly can improve. And that's one of the themes of our webinar here is about being more efficient and knowing where people are, what they're doing, what capacity do they have to do more or less. And in general, that's a problem.
yeah, I think you're spot on. Everybody wants to ensure that we're getting the maximum amount out of our, you know, what we have, and this is the best way
Resources,
to
yeah.
do so. The resources, exactly. Our workforce really is what I was going for, and with that, I've imported that task list, and this was created for me automatically based on those dates. I didn't do anything else. There's no wizardry or VLOOKUPs to do. The tool itself is just that wholeheartedly getting this built.
When you make a change
Um,
in the tool, it reflects in other areas of the tool where there's some tools where that just doesn't happen. So you'll have to go in multiple spots to make those changes. Well, here it proliferates throughout the application.
That's exactly right. I actually love that point for the reverse argument from our tool's strength, Thomas, because I can change it in any of these screens and it will reflect
Yeah,
across the board, right? So
exactly.
that same task list that we were looking at, where I can right click, I can remove the columns I don't want to see, I can save layouts, I can filter this by how, my milestones. I can also get that visual overlay of a Gantt. To Thomas's point, I can work in this tool the way that I want to. I can change the scale. Let's go to week maybe and see how these tasks are going to fall out over time. If there's something that I want to move here, I can drag and drop. This is a usable part of the tool. If I slide this over, you can see that my calendar dates are going to move accordingly, as the action would be the same whether I was doing it in either of those spots. But in this way, I've got that wonderful Gantt view without any effort here.
And for all of you, as you saw the agenda, the last 15 minutes we are having where you can answer or ask questions. And so we'll answer them best to our ability.
Absolutely. The views kind of keep coming, and this is a matter of the add-ons and what you want to see. We do have a lot of ability to say, oh, I just want to see the overview, the task list, and the Gantt, if that's what you prefer. We do keep it open, though, from this idea of a work how you want approach. We do have this concept here of planning board, where I can come out and see where these are falling on this Kanban. I can slide these over in a drag and drop method. I can open this up and still comment on this task. It's not a kind of a dead document. It's still there. The assignment board is really that who's on first situation, who's doing what of this work. We have this particular one as subset broken down into the resource type as well, so that we understand what tasks are associated with my coordinator, with our project manager, with our operations manager, and so on. Again, these are drag and drop. If Michael says, oh, hey guys, I can no longer be here, I can just quickly move these over to Kevin. Kevin will get all the appropriate notifications for those.
Yeah, and these different views as you go through them, Matt, which is great. Like we've talked about before, you have the ability to look at things from different perspectives. Some people might looking at something this way, and some people might looking at it from a different view, or in combination of them. But again, it's your option to be able to see what interests you most or what you need the most.
Exactly. Where it makes the most sense for you to work, right? That's it.
Yep.
And then the last view that we do kind of work on these Kanbans is this idea of status. So again, these are those work statuses. These are customizable. We have this particular one broken down by the individual contributor who's doing these tasks. One of the neat parts, kind of what Thomas was just saying, was I can actually even look at more than just my project if I prefer one of these views. I can come in here and say, let me group this by project. Let me add in additional projects. I can add these 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll have 5 total. Can refresh. I can then see the names of those additional projects, including the original one that we're in currently. And now in this way, if I'm a project manager, I can look at everything that's assigned to my department and move them around in this particular view.
So that shows the flexibility of the system.
Yeah, that's right. With that flexibility comes great power in that if I am tracking risks, if I am tracking actions, if I am, being mindful of a RAID log, it's incorporated into the tool. It's not another file, it's not another tab, it's not anything else. I just quickly go here. I have my risks, able to be tracked. If this level of, sophistication isn't what you need, we do not enable this add-on. You just don't see it. It's that easy. It goes away. That's really true for actions, issues, all of that. The
you're in
RAID log, though,
management, I was gonna say, if you're in management or just working the project, how important is that to be able to see what your risks are and the different RAID elements of it by just going in and taking a glance, even as such, to know where your project at and where your risks are, issues, or that from a decision standpoint. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make your company more efficient. And with doing so, you have data and information right at your fingertips.
Right there, right in this project container. I have everything that I ever need, including my meeting minutes. Looks like somebody held a meeting 2 days ago. I can jump in. We can see the things talked about here, right? It looks like there was an action item assigned to myself. This is one of the pieces that would have ended up on my work list, in fact. If we're hosting our weekly meeting, all we have to do is open up a new meeting minute notes. It looks something like this, where we can take our notes. We have the ability to assign items here. Don't get a, right.
As you're typing this, we're showing more and more how we're differentiating ourselves from using spreadsheets or Microsoft Project as example.
That's right. This is still that same project task that we imported, as there was no different from that original, import. We've now just added the ability to track what's happening from an additional data layer, such as meeting minutes or our project charter. Maybe you want to keep your charter in the tool itself. You have the ability to do that as well. It's really just a matter of what custom data are you looking to track, and we can do so pretty readily. All of this data itself can also be stored. We end up with documents, we end up with paperwork, right, associated with all of our projects. And inside of PI, we have the ability to track that and keep it here. That can be something really simple where we just use our native repository where we can kind of drag and drop these pieces. You can set them visible to all tasks. We also have a free client view, and you could set those visible to the client view right there as well. But if you're hoping to be more sophisticated, I can link in directly to SharePoint, to Drive, Dropbox, really anything that you might be using, wherein maybe we're even creating folder structure in your SharePoint based on what you need.
And when we talked about streamlining collaboration, here you go. You have access to all these different documents, and they're in the different areas that they need to be, so where they're all relevant, and it's easy to access.
So easy. And then when I need to give my update to the boss as far as easy access and collaboration, I can do so pretty readily. We have this idea of status report where I can pull up and say, all right, everybody, we're at 11% complete. We're working with Stellar Solutions here. You can see that I gave Thomas a weekly update. Looks like a few days ago. We're green.
Well done, Matt. It's green.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Project Insight makes it a lot easier. I'm not tracking as much, that's for sure. But I can look at my health as well and see where we are from a resource budget perspective, our upcoming milestones. As you see, this is what we have coming, the action item. Anything that's shown on a status report like this, you have the ability to say, put on this status report. So it can really be custom toward the way your organization presents, or even the way that that department presents their particular projects. Again, with that template process. The project overview is a little bit more all-encompassing. This is going to show me where my budget data is. We know what our hourly rate is for our employees, so I understand what my work total is going to be. If we are now using the hourly tracking, I can see that here and see where my actuals rolled in. That's really the idea here. Again, one callback I do want to make is a permissions issue. I am an admin within the system. If I were not to be, I would not see the financial components. This piece would slide up, and I would just have visibility into what the milestones, the risks, the charter, and so on.
Yeah, and this viewpoint really ties it all in.
Yeah, this is, I think, your view, Thomas, right? If you ever need to jump in as the executive and just see what's happening on this project, here you go. Here's your screen. Now,
Exactly.
the one piece about this, though, is you may not want to just look at this project, and often you have the ability to you have the responsibility, excuse me, to be in charge of more than one project. Definitely in Thomas's case. And that's where our reporting comes in. So what we've done here is we've gone into our reporting menu. We've clicked on to a cross-project Gantt, wherein I can see my projects as they're being put out over the time. We have the milestones as diamonds here, which are really similar to all of the other parts of the tool, where I can click on it and then I can begin to collaborate. Looks like Thomas is responsible for this. It's going to be right on time, getting it done. Looking good. Oh, we're on hold. Looks like we're on hold. Let's just make a little note and say, on hold team, right? Let everybody know. From Thomas. Send that out, and now we have an update specifically done through our reporting. That's the key here. If maybe you want to look at your data a little bit more flat, we can easily do that. We can look at this same set of projects in a project report, wherein I can see where my active projects were. I can see who's associated with this, which department, what type of work we're doing, for who. This is this, ultimately. The difference is all of the data that has been put into this is a roll-up from everybody's individual spreadsheets.
And those colors can be whatever you want them to be.
Absolutely. Or none, right? Just like any of the other pieces of the tool, if you want to remove something, you can remove. You don't have to have any of the color. You can simply just change these out. This is meant to be your report in your system. This is also a living document. So I can click into here, and if we are now complete with this project, I can change it and make it that way. When I refresh this table, that's going to drop off. This is an active project report. If I want to see all of my projects active or inactive, or any other bit of data that I'm not seeing here, I click on the filter. I can quickly then say, show me the inactive projects. I would like you to go in here and group this by status. So that same kind of piece we were looking at. And then let's actually do a double group. Let's do the second group by department. I can rerun this same set of data here and see that I have 1 in the planning, 14 active. Here's our complete one. In the operations bucket, when I jump in, I can see that in my active 14, operations is handling 8. Our PMO office is handling 6 of these. I would like to get this report out to other people to see, and I'm going to do so by saving it. I can just quickly say save. I'm going to go ahead and share this with the ProThoughts organization. And Thomas, this is coming your way. Are you ready, sir?
Thank you. Yep. I'd like to see it.
All righty, you got it. It's going to be in your menu report, as you can see here. So it'll be shared with the organization, with Thomas. I can also schedule this to be sent out. So if I prefer this to be sent every Monday morning via an Excel email, I can go ahead and say, send this out this way, and the tool itself will automate that piece as well.
That's a really important function. For the fact of the matter is now you know you're going to get the information that you need on a consistent basis.
That's right. Exactly. And without doing anything else, right? You don't need to worry about any other piece. The data itself, you can also have you know, this high level where we were looking at the project, or we can look at the individual tasks. Really any of the data in the tool you can look at. So in this case, we're looking at you know, tasks that are current and overdue, right, by the project. We can then drill in and see what we need to handle, who is responsible. Ooh, it's me on here quite a bit. Again, this is all handled here by the filtering, so current and overdue tasks.
So we can get
The
this
other
as sophisticated as sophisticated as you want to be, or as basic as you want to be. So we have companies that are using this to the most deepest levels of the system and very granularly with configurations that they've done that are very specific to them, that are very in depth. Or if you want to just be more basic and evolve, you can certainly do that.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's up to you. And the key is the data is here. So you can build the reports whenever you want, the ability to build reports, and the data set sits here. What we're looking at here is really what are we projecting? What are we looking at over the next little few months here? I can see here over the next few weeks, excuse me. I can see my work hours. So my operations team is going to have 1,300 hours spent before the July 21st. In doing so, they're going to spend $86,000 of time to support that. This can be both the work expense. It can also be actual hard expenses as well, not just the hourly rate of my employees. This is kind of the difference there, the hourly amount that we track. The tool does also.
Hey, Matt, I just want to make sure everybody remembers that they can get a PDU credit on this. And so you'll get the code on the screen. I believe they'll be presenting that, but just as a remember that you'll get that. So as we go through the rest of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just about in the Q&A section. We've got just a few more moments left to go through. In the reporting, we can't graph this out. So you do have the ability to see this data if you prefer to have that visual. And that's really true for all of the report that we have here. So any of the data that you see here, including something like this resource capacity here, wherein I can see how my business analysts are going to be doing over the next little bit. I can see what my operations managers are doing. You have the ability to drill into the projects and the tasks themselves. You can see what is associated with this particular user at this time. You can also rebalance. So if you care to drag and drop and move that over, again, these reports are collaborative. So very much looking forward to our Q&A here. Thomas?
And we want to jump into a few dashboards so we can show that before we jump into the Q&A, because the power of the dashboards is really great for people to be able to see the ability of what they think is most important to them. And we could even take it to another level because we're integrated with Power BI if you want to go even more granular. But most of our clients and lots of our clients love the dashboards that we provide. But again, you can take it to a whole different level if you so choose.
You can, you really can. All of the data does integrate. A dashboard in the tool is extremely easy and powerful, like Thomas's point is. It is a combination of reports. So you come in and say, this is the layout that I want it to be. You then come in and choose what data you want to see. So I want to look at that cross-project Gantt because this is a dashboard and I want this to be really visual. I would like to then see my project data here. See what's happening within my, let's say, portfolio allocation, see how this is going to impact my team over the next little bit. And then lastly, maybe I want to understand what is current and overdue But I really only care about the high level data here. I want to see the projects that are current and overdue. I want to understand which departments are responsible, what teams, what resources, and then what resources are. So if I'm having a meeting with Brittany, I can say, why are you 320 hours behind or on your projects? If this is that dashboard that I want, I simply save this. It's very similarly to how we have the reports. I say save dash. I'm going to share this one with Thomas also, because this one is actually for the two of us to be collaborating on. Now I'm going to go ahead and save that. Just like these reports, we now will have a dashboard saved here of what we just built.
Well done.
There's that data. And Thomas, if you log into yours, it's right there for you, sir. So
that's the power of the system.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, one of the things that we'll do, hopefully people really enjoyed seeing the various different aspects of the system. We just touched on a few things. There's certainly way more that we could go through and a lot more functionality, but we'll love to fetch some questions. And Matt, if you don't mind pulling up the Q&A slide, we also want to pull up the PMP online for ProThoughts, that they have some other upcoming batch that they call it for trainings. So people are aware of that.
Absolutely. I was getting up the Q&A and queuing that up right now for us.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt, for going through that with me.
Absolutely.
And as we see if there's any questions, we can certainly go into some different areas, as we quickly wanted to show those slides.
Yeah.
When the next coming trainings are. Oh, hey.
Hi guys. Okay, so I think that was super. Okay, I guess I have used personally Project Insight, and many of our customers have used that, so I can vouch for Project Insight for sure. And with all the years, I think the UI has been more attractive and simplified. So that's a great job done by the team. So the question are in. No, I would request everyone, every participant, to put a question in the question and answer panel. There are already 4 questions there. So Thomas and Matthew, if you can answer that by So rather than I putting out, so you can actually take a question and answer. Like Prerit Bhatt and Raghavendra have asked some questions. There are 4 questions, so maybe you can
get those.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. I do see those. So the first one is this system available as a part of Microsoft, or is it separately paid? Our organization, we are a privately held organization. We are not Microsoft, so it is separate to Microsoft, although we are a Microsoft partner and have been so for a long time. The platform is on Azure. We do integrate very well, being a partner with Teams, with Outlook. But it is a separate platform.
Those are not a lot of initiatives that you just mentioned, Matt, that we are really spending a lot of time with Teams, Outlook, and they're already integrated, but we're even spending more and more time and energy and resources in doing such.
Yes, that's exactly right. Is there a take? So the next question is, please take away an example of simplified documentation, like project tracking or deliverables. We do have that. Let me. So any of the data within the tool, and let me go ahead and stop sharing this so I can jump into
Matt,
this
as you answer that one, please, everybody, if you would, we have a poll up. Please vote.
Definitely appreciate the feedback. Candid feedback is wonderful. Thank you so much. Here is a different workspace. So again, this is the idea that it's unique to every individual. You can see here that this is Patrick Insights login, and Patrick has a lot more going than I have on my workspace here. The reason that I've gone into this one is to say, is there a way to simply take this information out? And there is. So if I'm in a project here, Globex, 2024 Globex, you can see just a small handful of tasks. We do have the ability to export data into, an example would be PowerPoint, into Excel, into Word, into a status report such as this, where this is a predefined form that might be in use. And we've now taken the information from Project Insight and created this PDF on the fly. This can happen systemly through the system as well. It doesn't need to happen one-off on this particular project. You can go into a report, run this for all of them, and then create a 20-page report with 1 page from each project level at that point.
Right. Let's look at another one here.
Yep, exactly. So let's see here. Our next one is, we saw the exact same data spreadsheet. Is it possible to have the data? Yes, absolutely. So can the data come in from tools such as Jira or ADO? 100%. Both of those are some of the out-of-the-box integrations that we offer, wherein you can have a dual sync with any of those tasks. There's some hierarchies that need to be set in play as far as just understanding, exactly where things need to be mapped, as any two tools that get mapped together do, but it is an out-of-the-box piece that you can do yourself.
We have a full integration with Jira, and so we can work in conjunction with Jira, because we know a lot of companies use Jira and they're not going to not use it, which is fine, because we do everything it does and a whole heck of a lot more, or we've replaced Jira, many, many times, as we continuously do, because we have more features and functions for a more comprehensive tool. All right, we got another one. Let's see here. Oh, go ahead, Matt. You want to comment on that?
Oh, no, that's it. I was just going for that. That if you want to get that one.
I'll read the next one. I always struggle with financials, variances, analysis between forecasts, actuals, reconciliation, and general ledger transactions. Can we automate these tasks using the tool? Well, that's one of the main purposes of the tool, is automation, right? And you'll be able to automate not only various aspects of that, but so many other different things. So emphatically, yes.
That's right. Yeah, hands down on that. There are a lot of different variance calculations that the tool has built in out of the box. So that way it gets exactly what you want to do, but exactly what you may need in your instance. But that's the exact idea, is that if Thomas has an expense and he snaps it on his receipt and I log hours on my phone and so on, that all then rolls into be the appropriate actuals versus what we had planned in that forecast.
I think I'd like to add, from a support standpoint, of course, if you have an issue with the system, you can put a support ticket in and we'll make sure that gets taken care of. But outside of that, from a support standpoint, as a company, we have office hours that are every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And what's great about that is we have a resource that will help answer questions from our team, but we also have customers on there, which, we're a company that likes our customers to talk to each other. I know that might seem novel, but that's really important to us. And what's great about it is the fact that the customers can help answer questions to each other. They've gone through, some people have been using this a long, long time and know the system backwards and forwards. And then we have newbies on there, a combination. And in some of those calls, we have a lot of customers. Sometimes there's a few, but regardless, you can not only get answers from us, but you can get answers from people that are using the system. And most people are really nice and really helpful.
It is. Office hours for the enterprise customers is an amazing addition that we have to our general support tickets, which just take care of our customers. And then our really kind of extensive self-help resources, wherein you have a very well-documented user guide, YouTube videos galore, REST API. One of the other questions was, how do you enroll in Project Insight free live training? That is another thing that you can do on projectinsight.com, the website, wherein we do offer tutorials for the product and itself as well. So we'd love to have you join.
Yeah, in the webinar chat, there is the code that's listed to get your PDU. So please take a look at that, and we really appreciated you joining us. So with that, I think we've answered all the questions.
All right. Okay. So great.
Yep.
So I guess, yeah. So I think no no I no I think it was a great session. Thank you so much, Thomas and Matthew. I think no like I have used personally Project Insight, and no the one thing I have checked on project management is that uh, there is a lot of overheads many people actually do while doing project management, and automation and the tool is a effective way, or it's a good enabler to reduce that administrative overheads and plus provide accurate reporting, and no otherwise it's a drag on the bureaucracy. So I think a great tool, and thank you so much, Thomas and Matthew, for your time early in the morning. At your time. So thank you so much to cater to our Indian audience, as well as there are some global attendees. So thank you so much once again, and thank you all for attending the webinar. I hope there was something to take away. Any questions that you may have, you can drop us a mail at info@prothoughts.co.in, or you can just message me or any of my team members, or support@prothoughts.co.in, and we will definitely help you with any information you want. So I guess thank you so much, guys, and have a wonderful day, Thomas and Matthew. Bye. See ya. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheesh. We
Thank you.
appreciate it, and your team, and our relationship. Thank you again for having us.
Thank you. Bye.